When the world starts to feel a little bit chaotic, you see the headlines about politics, about global tensions, the financial markets they get nervous. They start to de-risk. They look for safety, for something durable. And what we're seeing right now in fintech, it's a direct reflection of that exact feeling. Okay, so let's just dive right in. On the surface, you look at these three things and they seem totally disconnected, right? You've got this massive legacy payments company, a pretty rebellious crypto exchange, and then this whole network of small local community banks. But what if I told you they're all actually singing the same song?
Yeah, what's happening here is not an accident. Not at all. It's a really fundamental shift that's playing out right in front of us.
At its core, this is a story about money looking for a safe harbor in a storm. It's a flight to stability, and it's completely changing what we even mean by value in the world of financial technology. So let's kick things off with PayPal. For years, the stock's been kind of a drag, right? But all of a sudden, you're hearing these whispers of a buyout. The question is, why now? What changed? Well, this slide really explains it all. It's like we live in two different worlds. In stable, calm times, the market rewards hype. It rewards insane growth projections. But in uncertain times, like right now, the whole equation flips. All of a sudden, what matters is predictable cash flow and solid, boring infrastructure. And that infrastructure? PayPal has it in spades. I mean, this isn't just a cool app. It's the actual plumbing for a huge chunk of online commerce. Every single transaction through their global merchant network, every Venmo you send your friend, every payment Braintree processes, all of it just generates real, predictable cash. So, it makes sense. When everything feels shaky and uncertain, the companies that own the essential pipes, the wiring of the system, they become incredibly attractive. Potential buyers aren't chasing the next shiny object anymore. They're looking for resilience. They're looking for something that just works. I love this analogy. It's perfect. The chaos in the market makes PayPal, that quiet, dependable operator in the corner, suddenly the most interesting player in the entire room. All of a sudden, stability is sexy. Okay, now let's jump to our second story, and you'll see how this theme builds. So while PayPal is being valued for the stability it already has, the crypto world is scrambling to create it. We're witnessing what you could call the great crypto suit-up. So Crypto.com just got conditional approval for a U.S. National Trust Bank charter. Now, this is a huge deal. It does not mean they're about to become your local bank. No. Think of it more like a federally regulated safety deposit box. It puts their custody services, how they hold assets for big clients, under federal oversight. And for big institutional money, which has incredibly strict rules about risk, this is everything. It's a clean, regulated, safe place for them to store their digital assets. And why is this happening now? Because in a risky world, big money absolutely hates ambiguity. Institutions don't want to play in regulatory gray zones. They need clear rules. They need supervision. This whole move is about de-risking crypto for the big players. It's kind of like that rebellious startup finally hiring a lawyer and getting an invite to the Davos after party. After years of sort of fighting the system, crypto is realizing that the path to real massive adoption isn't about being an outsider. It's about getting a seat at the grown-up table. Legitimacy has become the new currency. And that brings us to the third and final piece of this puzzle, which, honestly, might be the most powerful example of this whole trend, the quiet revolution that's happening with stablecoins. Just look at that number for a second, 1,600. That's how many community banks and credit unions can now plug into stablecoin capabilities. And get this, they're not doing it through some risky new startup. They're doing it through Jack Henry, a core technology provider they have known and trusted for decades. This integration means that these local banks can suddenly offer services that used to be pure science fiction for them. We're talking about accounts based on stablecoins, payment systems that work 24/7, not just banking hours, and even the ability to create tokenized deposits. It's a massive, massive leap forward. And this just proves a really crucial point. Mass adoption doesn't always come from being the newest, most radical thing on the block. It comes from being acceptable to the existing system. It comes from being trusted. Jack Henry is basically that stamp of approval. It really is the difference between an underground artist on SoundCloud and getting on a massive Spotify playlist curated by a corporate partner. One is cool, for sure, but the other one scales to millions of people overnight. A technology can be debated online forever, but it only gets real power when it's integrated into channels that people already trust. Okay, so we've looked at a payments giant, a crypto exchange, and a network of small banks. Let's pull this all together. Let's look at the big picture here. Every single one of these stories shows the exact same pivot towards stability. For PayPal, the market decided that its durable infrastructure is worth more than growth hype. For Crypto.com, legitimacy became way more valuable than its rebellious anarchic roots. And with stablecoins, Jack Henry is proving that real-world adoption beats endless online debate every single time.
And I think that's the ultimate lesson here. In a world that feels more and more unstable, maybe the biggest opportunities aren't found by trying to tear the whole system down. Maybe the real lasting winners are the ones who figure out clever ways to innovate and build from within the structure we already have. So it leaves you with a really fascinating question to chew on. As everybody is out there looking for the next big disruption, maybe the most radical and successful strategy of all is to just embrace stability and work with the system, not against it.